Hello, hello, welcome to Piece of Pet Paints. I'm Pat. I paint things here on the internet. Little tiny things. Right now it's demons and devils and that sort of thing. Pretty cool stuff. This is by stuff's by Arson Guild, which is it's a 3D model company. You buy their stuff and they print it. You can buy physical prints too. They have links for physical prints. If you want to buy these miniatures, you can do that. You can go and jump on their website and buy it. I can print things and sell them to people, but I only have like one printer. So I sell painted versions of things. And if you're interested in buying things that I paint, there's a link to my Etsy store in the description. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, give us a like and a subscribe. That helps move these things around in the algorithm. I starting to slowly get used to all this. I was a chef for a long time, which is a completely different lifestyle than this. So it's a slow deal. But I get to grow my beard, my hair out, which is fun. I never got to look like this when I was a chef. I had everything very clean, and that's how I lived my life. If I had a beard, it was very close to my face, so that it wasn't like like a cat you could pet. It's like another pet down here, a whole other cat kitten. It's crazy. Anyway, so we're gonna get right to the work here. Put me up there. Turn that on. It's dark in here. It has been storming like crazy in the Oklahoma area, which is not too abnormal from for this time of year, but it is a little. I don't know, normally it's not like this, but it does happen from time to time. Now I ran out of spray, so hopefully we'll be okay. It's just a little stuff in the back. We'll just drop some black on there. It should be all right. My spray can ran out like right when I was trying to get this section right here, and I was like, oh man. So usually when I have a nice primered model, we might actually stir up. Oh wait, where's that? Yeah. This worked good for priming. Right? So we retired this brush because it had a little bit of a super glue on the tip. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a little black and we're gonna add it to this gray primer. We might get ourselves like a dark gray primer. Just to touch up some of those places. You really want to make sure you get a primer on there. And we'll get a little bit of this set up. And of course that, I don't know that I was ever going to be able to get a spray can into that right there. That's a hard shot. I got a little bit of the edge down there, but not quite as easy as it looks sometimes. Just make sure you've got, there's a bunch of these little nicks and crannies. Let me just make sure we've got some primer in there. Don't be careful, make sure it doesn't pool, especially with this stuff, because it's a little rougher than like your finishing paints will be. Your primers are, for those of you who are maybe new to painting and stuff like that. And what it does is it helps your paint stick to it, to the surface. And sometimes plastic and resin doesn't necessarily want all types of paint to stick to it. So if we throw a primer on there first, then that's going to increase the chances of the paint actually bonding to the material we're using for the model. In the long-winded version of that. Okay, dokie. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, while we're doing that, there was something I noticed that I did not do on our friend Asmodeus. We forgot to do his horns, to finish his horns out. So, that was my coffee. I just stuck that in. That is a dangerous place to leave my coffee. Yeah, well. At least it was the first brush of the day. It wasn't like full of paint. That would have been terrifying. Oh my gosh. That's funny. So this is a little bit of a burnt sienna. I wanted to make sure we come back and show you guys this stuff, because you're going to see the spin and you're like, Pat, you didn't do that all, and you did something different than you did in the live. I'm like, oh, I did, and I didn't say that I was going to. I should have. So I better come back and show you what I did by doing it. So I've kind of gotten to where we're doing a little burnt sienna, and then just this tiniest bit of thinned out Payne's gray. Not necessarily like a wash thin, but you know, I don't want it too thick. I want it to mix well with the rest of the horn tip. And just kind of add to the color, not change the color completely. And that way you've got the new growth on the horn and the old growth on the horn. It's kind of a fun look. I really decided I like that look of it. It just gives it a little bit of texture. Anyway, this should be dry now, so we can get back to work on the big guy. Alright. I got my dry brush here. I'm going to put just a quick highlight on things. I really kind of enjoy doing this more and more. At first, I didn't used to do these little zenithal-ing. But as I've gotten used to doing it, on recommendation of a couple of other modeling friends of mine, I like it better because now that I think maybe I'm older, I can't see things quite as well. Especially like something that's black, like sometimes it's like, okay, and I can't really quite see the thing like the way I used to be able to. And so it's kind of nice to throw this highlight on there and be able to kind of see what I'm doing. This guy's got a lot of interesting things going on. He's got, that's a bone on his face. That's crazy. Okay, let's pull up the source material on this guy and actually look at it. He's not as simple as the other ones have been. Some of his stuff's got a little bit of a different play to it. And if we're going to paint it blue, which is what won the poll, we're definitely going to have to, I gotta think about this one. Y'all, blue is definitely a, I'm very excited because I wanted a Blue Devil. Because Blue Devil is just funny to me to get to paint a Blue Devil. So having it be this guy, it's going to be the ultra blue, because these other guys are kind of blue, but they're more like purple. And we're going to like make this guy blue, so we have like a Blue Devil. I don't know why that's so amusing to me, but it is. So it just is. I don't know what. And yeah, I like this. I find with this, when you do this also, you don't have to spend, because I normally have to spend some time highlighting some of these things anyway. This just makes things a little bit faster. Hey, it's Sir McBeardsly. It's blue. We're doing a Blue Devil. I'm glad they didn't comment. People didn't comment and make it green, because the reason I didn't put green as a selection for anybody and wondering is because it would look a little bit like an orc with horns if you painted it green. So I was like, oh. Hey, all right. Beardsley voted blue. Yeah, I'm kind of. I didn't want to ruin it, so I didn't really say much. But I kind of like the idea of blue. It's gonna be a little bit interesting to make a Blue Devil. So I'm gonna look up a couple different things, because this isn't the devil that you like, a demon that you would normally associate with a Blue Devil. So I don't know. It's gonna be cool though. I got some ideas. I definitely know what colors I want to use. I just need to look at some ideas on how I want to, like, just some kind of ideas. I don't know how to explain this, but it'll be, I got to look at, the upper ends of the tones, like, how far up do I want to go? Do we want to go like a whitish when we get to the end of it, or do we want it to stay like a darker blue? There's a bunch of different options there, so it's gonna be cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I kind of enjoy the polls. They're a lot of fun, because I like painting stuff, and sometimes I just get to a point where I'm like, man, dude, I don't want to paint another one of these things just this color because I feel like painting it this color. Yeah, we can do that with armies and stuff like that. You know, if I'm gonna have to get, that's what that's for, is armies. So, man, this axe looks like this one might be me. Oh, it's some sort of bone or something. I don't know. It looks like a bone, like segments of bone stacked on top of each other. I don't know if that's intentional or not, or if it's just me and my brain translating that. But yeah, thanks to everybody who participated in the poll. That's super awesome. Really like that. It's really cool. He just resides in the 9th circle. That's right. Pit of the frozen lake of fire. So they went with Moloch, is what our Arson Guild named this one, which Moloch is Semitic, I think. Man, I'm gonna look that one up. I think that's Semitic. It's old. Moloch is an old kind of creature. Unfortunately, it did print out with the wings and everything attached. That is one of the things sometimes with your 3D prints that is interesting. It's like you'll sometimes get pieces where the whole thing is together. But you know, you get that from like Reaper too. Reaper does that. Our palette discipline is getting a lot better too. I kind of like keeping these little tiny bits. I've got to get used to squeezing these tubes just a touch. Oh, honestly, I have not been feeling well either. I'm still having trouble from those weird little attacks. They're brutal. I had another one today, or maybe it was yesterday. It gets so hard to tell, especially when you have them a lot. It starts to get to where you're like all your days will start blending together. It gets really weird. But yeah, hold on. I guess just gotta take it for a tease for a second. I don't think I'm gonna have one. I think I'm just tired. Because it makes it makes my shoulders and everything really sore. It makes my back really sore. Because there's a nerve or something in there that's going crazy. And then when I come back, it's like, it almost feels like I've been playing soccer or football or something. My neck feels like I've been moving it around a lot more than I really have. I don't know any other way to explain it than that. But it's weird, man. It's a weird feeling. Weird feeling. Now again, some of this stuff like this, once we get that with a metallic, you almost won't even see this underneath it. So we kind of go a little lighter there. With this, maybe, because we might be doing that, like I said, in like a bone. I'm gonna take a look at some imagery. But a lot of your metallic things, you're not gonna really see it quite as much if you're gonna use a metallic paint. Now, if we're gonna do a non-metallic metal technique, you know, this would be helpful for it. We've done that in the past. I'm gonna do that again sometime. We really need to. If we're gonna do that, probably kind of should have done that like the whole army. And I bent this guy in a little bit so that I could get in and do these things right here. Been a while since I brushed up on my knowledge of Dante's Inferno. Should listen to some of that soon. So it's yeah, we've done a few of the quotes for anybody who's paying attention to the titles on all these things. I've quoted a lot of like literary stuff. We've done a few Dante. Most of what I'm quoting is coming from Paradise Lost, which is, who's that? Milton? I don't remember. Anyway, Paradise Lost, which is it's an interesting book. Anybody who's ever had the chance to read it, it deals with the fall, the fall and how there's a lot of Lucifer. It's a very interesting read for sure. Oh, now I'm wondering who wrote that book. Golly. I've been quoting it for like ever. Like for, it seems like a month now. Yeah, Milton. I was right. John Milton. Hey, look at me. Yeah. Had to make sure I was right. There's my vanity right there, y'all. That's just, oh, yeah, I'll make sure I was right, damn it. I think we can allow me a little bit, right? So we can allow shows. Everybody can allow themselves just a little. Yeah. I know that one for sure. I was almost positive I knew that one. Actually, really interesting read. If you've never gone through Paradise Lost, it's interesting. I don't know why I'm worried about that, other than to be able to see it. So we're gonna black out a lot of this rock. But it has been helpful, I guess, in making sure it looks right. Oof, that was a little bit much. If you get a little too crazy, you can always tone it down a little later. That got a little out of control there, but we can also make it look like there's a lot of light on his back. There's ways you can hide your mistakes and things like that. That's one of the things about doing things live I like, is that whenever we do go a little bit, like that's going a little too heavy now, kind of on purpose, but you can see those mistakes, and we can talk about, hey, that was an error, and this is what you need, this is what you need to do, or like this one, we'll just take care of this later on. The problem is, the thing you want to make sure to do is get it thinned out as much as possible, so that it's not gonna interfere with your layers, because you can only put so many layers on a model before those layers start to interfere with each other, and you're not gonna get it's gonna start to meld together. You really got to watch like nooks and crannies right there. That's really where it's gonna like to settle, or in here on the ribs of the wings. It'll settle significantly there if you're not careful. So just make sure you do a little extra on there. Make sure you pull it down. So you can easily fix that. And that's one of the advantages to doing maybe like a spray. You could do this with a spray can. You could do this with a airbrush. A lot of people do them with airbrushes. Not everybody has access to those tools, so I like to do things by hand. Like smack my camera. Just a touch here. We don't really need too much more, just kind of trying to make sure we can see what we're doing. Be careful. This one is resin, so it will break very easily. That's a lot of zenithaling. Been zenithaling for minutes. It is, of course, much faster if you do it with an airbrush. We would be done. So that is one thing to remember. It is much faster. Or like you said, you can do this with a rattle can. One of the things I don't like about like air stuff for things like this is that it can kind of wrap around things. It's not quite as direct as this. So if you're really trying to amp up stuff, like we want this front to really kind of be bright, and we'll make that back bright like we did up here, like we did on accident. But you don't have quite as much control because it can wrap around things. Especially when you're first starting to learn how to airbrush. That's where I kind of got to where I was like, oof, sometimes maybe there is a place where it's better to be the other way. Is that I noticed trying to get into places, sometimes you get a lot of overspray and it'll drift into places. And that's why you'll see a lot of folks use your airbrush for like basic coloring and stuff like that, but then they're going to come in with their details on with a hand brush. Good old hairy sticks. Remember, some of that's just to make sure we can flip and see what we're doing. Have some idea where it's going to go. The older I get, the more I need that. I think I already told that joke. Haha. Pretty crazy. He's got a lot going on. Definitely has a lot going on. So blue demon it is. Blue devil. Whatever you call it. Get a couple drinks of coffee here. Let's take a look at some blue demons. Devils. Blue devils. Blue. Let's say blue devil first, just because the reference is fun. Ooh, that's fun. That looks good. Look at that. Oh, that's nice, right? That's nice. And that matches the Corellian, kind of the Corellian blue I wanted to do. All right, let's say that. Let's see some image. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, that's for DC comic stuff. Okay. What about the demon? It's a luchador. Look at him. Hey. Heck yeah, man. Luchador. Get some, bro. Blue demon. There he is. There we go. Now there's the luchador. That's fun. The Japanese. Ooh, with the yellow accents. That's kind of nice. It's kind of like an ochre yellow. That's fun. Kind of frost. That's neat. Comes up to the pink. Here's the classic Japanese style. Kind of like that too. That was a little bit of where I was kind of going to go, but that's more of a just a lightened Windsor or lightened maybe ultramarine. I was going with the Corellian. Still same kind of idea though. That's kind of fun. It's a fun logo. That's neat. It's kind of grabbing inspiration. Ooh, that's fun. See, and that's got that yellow ochre stuff back again too. Although I think I want to go brighter on the blue. Okay. Let's put that in my coffee again. Alright. Now that's some sort of bone. And one of his... And knowing these guys, this is done on purpose. So there's something going on with one side of his face that isn't going on with the other side of his face. And we need to look this up before I go too far on his face. That's just a Windsor blue. Make sure we're getting good coverage. Don't leave anything pooled in your crevices. this is real dark base coat. And when you light it with it, we're really lighting it up a lot from here. I'm really wondering what this is all about. Let's see. Oh, they have pictures of their stuff. There we go. They made him like his blade like purple and stuff. All his weapons are like spiritual purple. And yeah, that face is like, oh, they're doing all that as bone come off of his face. Interesting. I think the idea of doing that bone and doing the rest of this is regular color. I wonder if anybody peeps my stuff that hard. I doubt they do. That's okay. I don't mind. It's kind of terrifying thinking about it. I think I want to do the fire in the chest still. I think that's something we're going to do still with this one. These markings that are on him, I want to kind of have them be that fire. We've been doing a lot of other stuff. This winter blue is a great dark blue, so if you're ever looking for a good dark blue, if it isn't navy or it's like navy blue is great, but it is very, it's different, you know. This has that, I know, crushed almost like stained glass kind of blue. It I don't know, it's hard to describe. Blues. It's very dark. Very icy. And it's dark without losing its blueness. I think as odd as that is to say it, Windsor is very dark, but it's still very blue. So I really like using it on different miniature projects for the base stuff, because it can be dark and still be blue. Like even on these places where it's coming in on the black, it still looks blue-black. It does, you know, it actually stands on the blue, on the black, and makes that black blue, which that's not easy. Not all colors of blue can handle that. So when you put them on and again, that all has to do with the kind of pigments that they're using to make these different blues. And this is a Winsor & Newton's Winsor blue. So, you know, you'd think that they would they'd really ramp that up since it's theirs. Oh, well, not strap. Oh. And we're going to do his other hand and his other sword after we get all this in. His other sword, or all this done and that done. Because his other sword is in the way of some of this area. And then that hand is in the way here. So we're going to attach that after we get this stuff kind of done. Just for anybody at home that's wondering why. Oof, man, that stuff is hard. It's a completely lost my train of thought. That's the thing about this thing that these attacks I get is like, maybe that's what I was talking about. They just get to where it's so hard to think. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out what I'm doing. Kind of like painting when I'm not feeling well, because I can look at it and kind of remember, oh yeah, no, I'm painting this thing. But trying to keep track of like what I'm saying, I kind of get caught up. So this could be actually really funny. I might say something completely absurd. Dang, here comes rain again. I'm telling y'all, it's been raining like crazy out here. Every 10, 12 years I'll do this in August, but usually August has like intermittent rain. We get the big rain is in September. But this whole year has been rainy because again, it's that they said let's say about every 10 to maybe 15 years, but it feels like 12. We get this cooler, wetter pattern that comes through Oklahoma. I definitely welcome it. I don't like it when it's hot. Kind of a wussy when it comes to. I spent so long on the line and I don't want to be hot anymore. So much time in kitchens and stuff. Trying to see if I can figure out exactly what's going on under there. Keep slowly working your way through it. Discerning which parts are the flesh and which parts aren't. Same thing we do. It's the same process with just about everything, really. You're painting. It's a little different because it's blue. It does seem kind of wrong. You're painting on there like, man, this feels wrong. Why am I painting it blue? Like, oh no, we wanted to paint it blue. I kind of like the blue because, you know, jinns are blue. There's a lot of, there's some Asian demons that will become blue. I kind of like the idea of a blue piece, like true blue, not the slightly purple. I like this little piece of wing here. It's like a, I don't know, some sort of bone piece or something we can add into there, which really, we can fade it from the blue into like a, oh, that's maybe where we can bring in that ochre. Maybe we do the wings in ochre. Ooh. Yeah, we'll do the wings in like an ochre color. Nice yellow. Kind of like those, that mask we were looking at the very end. Oh. Alright, so can make sure we get in the underneath of this hand here. Really hard, it's really hard to see back in there, but you've got a thumb that's coming down underneath. And just make sure got a color for all that. Coming up around the shoulders here. Down the side of the wing. Try to get inside it. Get inside the bottom of her little loincloth thing he's got going on there. And we're just tracing his little arms. Crazy stuff. Just take your time. Don't get in a hurry. Most of the time what happens when you get is when you overpaint or something like that is because you're in a hurry. Some of it's just too much pressure. Sometimes you're pushing too hard, and it makes the brush flip out. And sometimes it's just you weren't looking in the right place, or you didn't move the brush correctly. Kind of liking this artist brush. Tip does really well, and it holds a lot of paint, which is nice. My mistake usually comes from pushing too hard. So I do a lot of pushing too hard, and then it overpaints somewhere. And yeah, this would be way faster if you had an airbrush. You could get this done in minutes. But you're also going to have to deal with overspray. Especially on things like these little lines here. It's very hard to get the airbrush to just settle on one little ridge of bone, you know, or flesh or whatever. I like to think of this as like flesh, the flesh colored bone. And then you get more like bone here. Same with this. This looks more like bone that's kind of come out. I do have that reference photo. We might consult that again. Or we might just go to town on what we want it to look like. I think the big demon definitely needs to be like, I don't know, black with the inside of it is the flame. I don't know what we're gonna do with that one. That big demon's crazy. I'm pretty excited about that one. So no, this isn't the big demon. For those of you who haven't seen the big one, we have a big one. It came with this set. Man. Oh, hey, we're doing good. 46 minutes. If I can make it just about 10 more minutes, we'll wrap up and everything will be kosher for today. At least as far as painting on the YouTubes anyway. Just hoping I hope I never have done one of those while I'm on live. That was crazy. I feel awful about it. I shouldn't though. Like I shouldn't feel bad. You know, because it's like, wait, what am I supposed to do? You know, have a series to sit there and suffer on and stuff while being recorded. It seems a little bit dystopian. So, I don't know, you got a little of that show must go on thing, but other than that, it seems just ridiculous for me to feel that way about it. Maybe it's just that little bit of embarrassment you have as a man when you know you're not Superman and everybody gets to see it and you're like, oh man. But it's not like I haven't said before that I had to retire because of health issues. It's just, you know, I don't want to show it off to people. It's kind of weird. Luckily, it doesn't happen often, so hopefully we don't see it again on Vibes. That's crazy. I kind of want to go back and look at it, but I kind of don't. I don't know that I really want to see what I look like having some sort of literal brain slippage. Get down here on a calf just so people can see what we're doing here. And that way I can finish up all this blue off camera. Because you'll have seen all the important bits. The other side is literally just a duplication of what we're already doing. So if you see one side, you're just pretty much duplicating the same technique on the other side. You're trying to make sure you're getting in all the crevices. Coat the whole thing in a nice blue. And I really think I am liking this brush. See, I've got a little spot back in there that did not get any primer, so it definitely does not want this Windsor sticking to it. But it's so far deep up in the model that the only person that would ever see it is another modeler, and they're going to look at it and be like, yeah, I was wondering if you were able to get up in there. And then you get to have a laugh. That's just how it goes. Because people who do this, you know, we all understand each other. We all understand the plights we have to go through because, you know, you went through them as well. Oof, getting between his legs is going to be difficult. Okay. We're going to go in from one side and look from the other. There we go. I don't think you can see that in the camera. I'm going in between his tail and I'm looking in between, looking down through that hole while I'm going through this hole. I'm kind of using that tail as a guide, but I don't want to put too much pressure on there because you could snap that tail outside. You're super mad. Super mad. Speaking of tail, let's get that done. And that way you guys have seen all the blue that was important. And the rest of it's just repetition. This hand's actually easier than that hand, which we didn't finish, Pat. Okay, I don't know. Start talking to myself. Be careful. Yeah. All right. Just make sure you bring all those fingers around. I did do the top of it. Just make sure you got everything curled around properly. You're just going to keep coming on down. Do all this Windsor, get it all done. We'll come back and do the next stuff tomorrow. How is that thing held on? I guess it's squished in between his legs and you can't see the straps. Fine by me. No, that's a pain. So, looking really good. That's a fun model, honestly. It's a lot of fun. We got a lot to do. I'm gonna get them all. I'm gonna get all the rest of this blue. I'll get all this done here, and then this side here that's in there, we'll get it ready to go, and then we'll continue on with him tomorrow. So, and another look at Asmodeus, a couple of these other guys. They're looking great. Really looking great. Fun little set of things. Anyway, thanks for everybody who stopped by, give us a watch. Thanks to all you folks who stop by later and watch us. I know we have that. That happens. I see that the numbers go up, and it's not like just the numbers of views, but like the watch hours go up, and you're like, oh, okay, well, no people actually watch that one. So it's cool. I mean, like, I never know what it is I did that makes people watch it. So it's always a shot in the dark. I try to just kind of keep being myself, and you know, we'll just see what happens, right? So I said this whole thing is just kind of a vlog, I guess, to keep track of what I'm doing. A journal, video journal. We kind of, you know, Sir McBeardsly and I goof off and have fun, chit chat with each other, which is fun. It's always nice to have friends you can chit chat with online for no apparent reason whatsoever. Anyway, hell, that's the best part of life. You should have lots of friends that you can just talk about whatever. It doesn't matter. That's what makes that, honestly, that's what makes you a rich person, really. You know, if you don't have anybody that you can just shoot the shit with, what did you do? I mean, why you like that? You should find out why you're like that and change yourself. Honestly, because like everybody should have a person that can do that with. Anyway, maybe I can be that person. Give us a like and subscribe. Anyway, yep, we're back tomorrow. Paint some more blue demon, blue devil, whatever, Moloch. We'll call him Moloch. Let us start using his name. And I'll more of me running my mouth. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. If you're here in the Oklahoma City area, stay dry. I guess all of Oklahoma, really. And I'm actually not in the city. I'm outside of the city, but it's close enough. Yeah, be good to yourselves. Be good to somebody else. Be good to each other. Just, be good to somebody you don't know. Just be good. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Maybe. There we go.